Hi, this is Andrea from CucinaLi, and today I'm gonna guide you through a tutorial on the new series of BilanciaLi, my ice cream software balancer, version 3.0. But before we dive in on everything that is new, including two new versions that are fully new for the English-speaking crowd, I wanted to give you a very quick intro on what you can find on my website in terms of gelato resources, so that you can actually have a look and kind of browse through while you help yourself in finding out your way to become a gelato master. On the home page, of course, there is an Italian website, which is the one that contains the biggest part of the content. Since a couple of years, I've been translating contents, especially the whole suite on gelato, and also my most index guides. The main one where you can actually that you can use as an entry point for all the resources available is the one on ice cream making. You can find it here across other guides, and you can read it carefully. You will find a link to the software, of course, BilanciaLi, but also to Gelato Project, my iterative book, a very special book that I created based on readers' requests. So every month I add the recipe that you as a reader request. Once you buy it, you instantly become supporters, and you get the right to request your own tastes, and your requests become the content of the future editions of the book. So for 1 year you can download the updated copy. Every month a new recipe come out, so the book grows over time. Right now it's approximately 400 or it's above 400 recipes, so there's really tons of inspiration in there. But let's talk about BilanciaLi today. Starting from its website, you can reach out to it by going to bilancia.li and then browsing to the English version. Now, if you are a new customer and you're watching this video to get inspiration, whether you could like or not my software, well, just stay patient. I just show you what you can find on the website. There is a user manual. You find the pricing to see the different versions. We will see today we have 3 versions. We have the basic, the studio version, and the gold version. Basic is good to start. It only has 2 balancers, one for sorbet, one for gelato. It's perfect to start, but if you know that you're gonna need more, balancing more types of ice cream, controlling the temperature, saving your recipes, then you're gonna opt for studio. And of course, if you are an advanced nerd, looking at the freezing curve, looking at features like being able to calculate the food cost, being able to add recipes as single ingredient and more advanced things, then you should be looking into the gold version, which is the one thought to kind of satisfy all the requirements from more advanced and professionals that are balancing ice cream. If you're an existing customer, you have 1 year support from the day you downloaded the first time BilanciaLi. So for updates, you can go to my account, log in with your data, and within the download area you will find the version that you purchased. You can see there is always an expiration date, so that means that beyond 12th of May 2027, in my case, this download will disappear and you will lose access. What does it mean technically is that you just don't get access to the latest version. If you wanna get it, if there is a latest version that is higher than yours, you should repurchase it and you will get it for another year. Whereas if you're happy with what you have, you don't want to upgrade, your version will keep working for the rest of your life, basically. Good. So let's start by looking at the software. So I will start with the gold version, and then I will show you also the studio and the basic versions, and then we'll also see how to start, basically. So when you download this, it's a zip file because it always contains the 2 languages. You have the Italian one and the English one. You just pick the version you prefer. You need to open it and extract, pull the files. There's multiple ways to do this, right? One thing that you have to be careful about is at the first run, so first of all, this is an Excel with macro, and Windows has a protection for downloaded file. So you need to go under properties. So you saw me, I right clicked and I clicked on properties. You get this window, and then you have to cancel block, or at least that's what it says in Italian, and say okay. This might come in different flares. I don't think Mac has a similar protection. You need to open it once and tell Mac that it's a save file. But then once I open it, this should be working. What can happen in Mac is that you get some kind of an advice here that macros are disabled. You need to say that the file is safe, and then you can use it. Otherwise, the macros will be disabled. What you need to run BilanciaLi is Microsoft Excel, at least version 2021. No numbers, no Open Office, no whatever other version of Excel readers. You need Microsoft Office 2021 and above. Let us start with looking at screen by screen. It's quite a big configuration screen, so I'll maybe deep dive on one of the columns to just tell you what you're seeing. This screen is allowing you to configure the different profiles of ice cream, and the gold version has the widest offering. So we will see later, the basic version only has ice cream and sorbet, which means you can balance two profiles. You could adapt minimum and maximum, but you will basically have only two profiles. The gold, the studio version has 7, so basically those ones. And the gold version has semi-finished goods, which have a special feature attached, and then additional 4 profiles. That gives you the full flexibility on balancing any type of ice cream or non-ice cream stuff. Basically, you configure yourself, or you go with the basic configuration of minimum and maximum. And then behind each profile, you will be able to save your recipe. So all your ice cream, all your sorbet, all your granita, all your vegan ice cream, gastronomic sorbet, fried ice cream, Pacojet, Ninja Creamy, whatever you want. And they will stay behind this maximum and minimum values. If you reset, it will basically reset all the values to the fabric version. And here below, only for the gold version, you have additional things you can configure. The currency for food cost. If you want to show food cost or not in the print screen, which we'll see later. And then the weight of each weighting in the print screen. Let's look at it, because otherwise it's not easy to understand. I need to load a recipe just to show you tiramisu. Let's go to the print screen. You see the balancer is calculating the recipe for 500 grams, 750, or whatever we configure here. So if I tell him I need a 250 gram version as my first column, this will be instantaneously calculated. And in the print screen, we have you see the food cost. This is using values in the balancer. You can change the currency to US dollars or whatever. It will not apply any currency change. So you will need to manage the price behind each ingredient, but it will append the right currency. So here. And as I was saying, so here you can say that you don't want to show the price. That might be a requirement if you want to print those and show them to customers, or I don't know. You see that the price has gone away. You can add some recipe note. We will look later at this curve. But that's it for the basic configuration. So let's assume that you're an existing customer and you would like to migrate your old BilanciaLi. I have a version here. In order to migrate, you need to have your current version stored somewhere on your computer. I put it here on the current. You see it's version 2.3 in English, so it will migrate only English to English. I just select my file here and it will take a few seconds. You see, that was done. It told me something. We will look at it. That diary product table has changed. So I will show you what that means. So let's go back to configuration. This should have overridden some of the, it basically overtook my profiles, it overtook my recipes, it overtook my ingredients and my settings. So as you can see, there's a Ninja Gelato here, a Ninja Sorbet that were not here before. Along with those profiles, also the recipe have been imported, so we will find them in the balancing sheet. Let's look at the core of this tool. So let me import maybe something more classic. You can see my personal recipe. This is just a dummy test I did to show you that it would be importing all my recipes. So I think if you wanna just find out how everything works, there is a free training on BilanciaLi, which is following this video if you're inside the training, or you can find on my website, going to services, cooking classes, and hitting this one. It's free. If you want something more serious, you can find the full gelato class. Feel free to check them out, check out the reviews, up to you which one you want to take. You can start with the free, and then if you want more, have a look at the basic gelato class. So what's new in version 3? It's the biggest feature is this one in the bottom. So let me zoom on it. There is a full article explaining in detail how this works, but I will give you a shot here. So this is the freezing curve. Basically, this tells you how your ice cream is behaving while you apply cold. And more precisely, it gives you a function of the percentage of frozen free water that you can see. Here it's 70%, here it's 80%, here it's basically totally frozen. And how it behaves with the temperature going down. What you're looking for is the sweet spots. This one is the service temperature. So that's the temperature at which you're supposed to serve your ice cream, to keep your ice cream. So your window should be between -12 and -14 to be able to keep this ice cream creamy. I added something that is only available on my software, and it's called the optimal quenelle point, which happens to be a few degrees below the serving temperature, and more precisely when 70% of the unbound water is frozen. That is actually a consistency at which you're able to do your quenelle, or actually your ice cream is, let's say, not too liquid but not too solid, so you're able to scoop it very well, and so it will be slightly softer than at minus 13.85 degrees. So very useful tool to understand the behavior, also because this of course adapts in depending on how you balance your recipe. So let's just give you a live demonstration by adding a lot of sugar, so a lot of dextrose. Let me double it just to give you a bit a feeling. So first of all, you have ice cream, the balancer complaining that you're unbalancing the recipe. You see the serving temperature got down to -20. And the curve, of course, got steeper. This is because the sugar is creating a lower freezing point, and the whole curve is basically behaving differently. How to use this? Well, you just tailor your ice cream to your window temperature. So if your window is at -12, you will probably try to balance your sugars and the solids around that temperature. Good. So on top of the freezing curve, you also have a Sandiness Index. This is telling you whether your ice cream is going to be sandy. This depends heavily on anti-freezing power and on the amount of non-fat milk powder. So if I exceed with this, let's put 60, you see, this value goes beyond 40%, which is the alarm. So it will tell you that there is a high lactose crystallization risk. And it tells you to reduce lactose or to increase the anti-freezing power. So you can fix it by either increasing the anti-freezing power. Voila. Okay, now I created another problem. Or you can simply remove lactose, which is contained in non-fat milk powder. Get back to the value that we had before. Good. That was the main thing in the balancer. For the other features, again, I welcome you in the free class. This PCI tab is probably gonna get better, but right now you have basically the same curve, just bigger. You have also the values, you can see them in a different way. So you could see this a bit as a summary of your ice cream balancing and characteristic. You could also print that out, up to you, but it's not showing anything new, it's just reporting the same value in a different format. Same goes for the print screen. So here, the nice thing is that it's already ready for, if I do print as a PDF, for instance, anybody should have this Microsoft Print to PDF. You can print this in this nice layout, you can hang it, it has the freezing curve. If you add recipe notes, they will appear there. So if I go back to the balancing here, here are my notes. I can put Alt Enter to add a new line. Okay, I could save, update. So this has updated my recipe. I can look now into print, and you see that you have the notes centered vertically. If you need to take out the recipe somewhere, just copy it like this and then paste it somewhere else in a Word document or wherever you need it. Good. Then here you have a list of recipes, so in case you need to look, because the fact that you have many profiles, you have each profile has an unlimited set of recipe that will be saved. So every time I save, they just get listed in the profile where you're saving them. You can also move them from one profile to another. So I can move this from ice cream to sorbet. I don't know why should I do it, but I could do it. You sometimes save it in the wrong one. Maybe you create a new profile. I mean, you can do all these kind of things. So I think findability is quite important. So that's why you have this filterable list that shows you all the recipes you have, and you can search here by name, by profile. So usually the way I use it is like, I don't know, I did some caramel stuff, or I don't know, fior di latte. I have no idea what I saved on this profile. Okay, let's say grape. I didn't know where I saved it. I can check. It's okay. It's in the sorbet, so I can go put the sorbet, and then I will find my grape. Where is it? American grape here. Voila, and import it. Good. This is how to use this list. What else? Ingredients. Well, here you have a full list of ingredients. This has, I think, grown a little bit. What I was telling you before in the migration, let's get back to this. The dairy and egg table has been adapted, and it's calculated exactly as in the old BilanciaLi, but old BilanciaLi didn't have sweetening power and anti-freezing power. So those two columns are actually quite important, especially if you're working with with lactose-free products, because lactose-free products do not follow the same rule as lactose products. So BilanciaLi was taking an assumption. Let me take here casein, which is a bad example of how this was introducing a problem. Casein is 100% protein, so it shouldn't have any anti-freezing power. It doesn't contain any sugar. So you could reset it to 0. And this was done because it was taking the assumption that 52%, like in non-fat milk powder, you have approximately 50% of lactose. And lactose, as you can see here, has a anti-freezing power of 100. So the assumption that BilanciaLi was taking is, I take the non-fat milk solid, I multiply by 52%, I get the anti-freezing power of that element. Which is actually a good approximation, but it's much more precise if you do it by hand. So what I invite you to do just once is to review now the migrated products. If you take BilanciaLi out of the shelf, the BilanciaLi 3.0 contains already the corrected values, but if you migrate your own data from an old BilanciaLi, these will be calculated as they were, so you need to adjust them manually. And specifically casein is one of those examples, so you need to put 0. If you need any support, please join us on our community. You can find a link to our community in here in the ice cream making guide, and you can click on this link to join it. The Italian group is definitely more active and bigger, but the English group is growing, so I want you more on the group and more active so that we can also increase our international community and support each other. Good, let's look at the semi-finished product. This is not a new feature, it actually exists. Let me just do a small recap. You can use semi-finished products here as an absolutely great feature, reset, to transform recipes into ingredients. So if I wanted to do a mayonnaise, I don't know now by heart, I don't know, eggs, let's put egg yolk, I don't know, 20 grams, then we have some olive oil, okay, doesn't matter now, I put olive oil, but of course it's with seed oil, let's say 100 grams. I mean, you can add all the ingredients, you can save it, let's call it mayonnaise, voila. And now in my, I don't know, gastronomic gelato, let me start with, I don't know, some white base. I can take burrata as a starter, remove burrata. I could do, it's probably not gonna be very good, but I could use mayonnaise as an ingredient in my ice cream. So essentially this feature allows you to create full recipes, could be a cake, could be a blend, could be a mix of multiple fruits, maybe with some sugars, maybe some recipe that you have prepared in a restaurant and you have some preparations that you do, and then you want to use that as an ingredient for ice cream. Well, that's the feature you need, because you can save all the recipes and then you can use them as single ingredients. Good, and with that we have basically the last feature, which is calculators, explained very well in the class. Let's have a quick look at the other versions of BilanciaLi. So let's start with the Studio. As you can see, it looks very similar. The configuration is exactly the same but smaller. You have 7 profiles, you have only the reset button, you have no configuration because there's no print version. The balancing screen is very similar. It doesn't have the freezing curve, it has less buttons here. You cannot, let's see, you cannot move. You can put them side by side so that you can appreciate here the differences. In terms of features, you have import, you have update, save new, you see all the ones in the bottom. You don't have the move and the print, so there's no print screen. And also, of course, you don't have the freezing curve and all these indications. But the rest is the same actually. You have also unlimited amount of recipes, you have just less profiles. The recipe list is also available. It comes of course with already quite a lot of recipes, so approximately 40 you can see. Now I don't remember, but it's a bit more in BilanciaLi Gold. Ingredients are the same, calculators are the same. Let's now go to BilanciaLi Basic, which is the simplest version. Okay, you see the config is very minimal. Sorbet, ice cream, reset. The balancing screen, it's actually much more limiting because you cannot save anything. You can just use the recipes that you find, and it's mostly bases. So you see you have a yellow, a cocoa base, a dried fruit base, white alcoholic base, white base, yellow base, and yogurt base. And for sorbets, you also have a list of starters, but you cannot save your own recipe. So perfect to start, maybe not ideal if you already know that you're gonna, save your recipes and want to do a bit more than plain balancing of recipes and then store them, right? ingredients are the same. Yeah, that's it. So I think we did the round. I hope you enjoyed. I remind you that you can follow me on socials, looking for CucinaLi, looking for BilanciaLi and Gelato Projects. If you have questions, come to the community, join it, ask questions. We'll be there to answer. Have a nice day.